Reading is a discipline like anything else, and you need baby steps to get there. And it is hard. And if you don't enjoy it in the very beginning, then you will hate it the rest of your life. I'm Max Brooks. I'm the author of Zombie Survival Guide, World War Z, and the new graphic novel, The Harlem Hellfighters. It's a true story. In World War I, when the United States entered the war, the US government set up one of its own units, an African-American regiment, specifically to fail. They did everything they could to undercut them, humiliate them, sabotage them, make sure they didn't get in combat. And then when they did get in combat, they fought for the French and still ended up coming home as one of the most decorated units in the whole US Army. Talking to educators is always interesting for me. I think I came here to talk, but I much prefer to listen.
I was engaged, I was heartbroken. I went through the whole gamut of emotions when I read it.
This is a great way for a teacher to get students active and involved in the study of history.
I didn't know anything about the Harlem Hellfighters, and it was so powerful it drew me in.
What Max provides in this type of text is like very high interest, high level thinking, but in a way that's accessible for kids.
Someone actually just said, I thought something that was so profound, that one of the problems with getting non-white students, non-white Christian students interested in history is they don't think it applies to them.
So I've always taught African American, Latino kids, and to give them a basis in history that especially a story they've never known before, like it's a great way to show them that we were more than what history usually tells us about ourselves. So they were valiant, they were courageous.
I wanted specifically to make it a visual story because it's about imagery. It's about literally skin color. And I think in a novel, there is the danger of the reader forgetting what skin color they are. I didn't want the reader to ever forget because these guys weren't ever allowed to forget. From a book standpoint, I wanted kids to read it because nothing turns kids off like a big, thick history book. So I thought a graphic novel is a great way to suck them in.
And seeing the graphics and having the few words, I felt it, I was engaged, it was entertaining, and for kids it'll be the same thing, they'll be into the story.
It's a complex text supported with illustrations, so you can scaffold it, you can teach it as a whole class lesson. I think it's just the implications for the classroom are massive and pervasive.
If you can't read, when you look at the illustrations, you can draw conclusions from the illustrations. That supports Common Core standards.
What's important about the Harlem Hellfighters is that they show us what a community and what individuals are capable of when everything is stacked against them. They had to fight the Germans, and then they had to fight the racism of their own country. The worst thing that happened to the Harlem Hellfighters was not during the war, it was after the war, when the US government intentionally buried them. Because that is the worst thing you can do to a soldier, is not kill, capture, or torture. The worst thing you can do to any soldier is to forget them. As happy as I am with the pop culture success of the book, I think that its home really should be in the education system. I think that it's hard enough to get any kids to read now. When I was a kid, all we had to take us away from reading was television. Now there is a hydra of electronic flashing lights on phones, video games. To get any kids to read is hard enough, and to get them to read about American history, we might as well send a man back to the moon. So I think graphic novels are a historian's best chance to introduce young readers to what came before them.